Thank you for being here. I'm a huge fan of yours in just
Thank
about
you.
every single thing I see you in.
you.
I love your choices, and you flew in just for this, so thank you so much for being
did.
here. I appreciate
I did.
it. So now the beard, you had the beard in Lost Daughter, and you still have it. So is this for something else?
No. This is, I had the beard for Lost Daughter, where I got to be the object of desire.
Yes.
So I figured people liked it. And then I had to shave it for another show. And then now it's really how we keep track of how long it's been since I haven't worked. So.
What is that? How much time is that?
This is May.
Okay.
We'll start to get worried at a certain point, but
Okay.
so far it's good.
What's the longest it's been?
That I've not worked?
Yeah,
You know, I think maybe a year.
Really? Does it get down to like a Santa Claus length?
If I can go like this and I can like feel it, you know, in here, then we start to
Then
do
you need to
something
get
about it.
another job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santa Claus.
Does Maggie like it? Does she prefer you shaven?
I think so. She gave me these earrings to wear kind of with it,
Oh.
you know? Because for every beard, you need a pair of earrings also.
Yeah, I didn't realize
Everybody
that-
knows that. I told her I was going to go out on this show like Dr. John. I don't know if you've seen early Dr. John with the earrings and the whole thing.
I'm from New Orleans.
Okay, this is as close as I could
Yeah,
come.
it's a good Dr. John look. I love Dr. John. He was fantastic. Let's talk about Dopesick.
Yeah.
If you're not watching it, you should, because it's a subject matter that even if you knew a little bit about opioids, to learn how this, you know, permeated the country and the world is frightening.
Yeah.
Tell everybody what it's about.
So it's about the opioid crisis, which in particular in our show, we're connecting it to Purdue Pharma, which was owned by the Sackler family. And Oxycontin was an opioid that was overprescribed, continues to be overprescribed, but was championed as an opioid that was essentially non-addictive. And many doctors were fed this story by sales reps that went around and actively sold the product in ways that were, you know, incredibly deceptive. And so the show goes at it from that point of view. For me, I have someone close in my life who has struggled with this addiction. And so back in, when was it? 2016, Norman Lear and Shonda Rhimes were doing this show called America Divided for Epics, and they wanted to have different issues that people might think about for the election. And I saw that opioid crisis was not on that list. And I said, because of my connection, I said, I really want to do something with this. So they sent me to Dayton, Ohio. And I went on like ride-alongs with police. I hung out with dealers. I hung out with families, support groups, people going through it. And it provided me great relief to have knowledge. I mean, because this is a drug that fundamentally affects your brain. You're not going to get out of it without full support and medicine, drugs like Suboxone and stuff. So when they came to me with this show and it was coming at it from all these different angles and written by Danny, who's so great, incidentally with Michael Keaton, obviously, I just thought this is the way to tell this story.
It's frightening because the amount of money that they made and continued to make is it's really good. I mean, the performances are amazing, and it's a true story, so it's incredible. You mentioned Michael Keaton. He's a pal of mine, and he's going to be here in a few days. I understand you do an impersonation of him, because I want to see that.
I do a suggestion
Okay.
of Michael Keaton. I think the important thing to know about Michael Keaton, I'm starting to do it even if, you know, because it's, you know, he goes to the middle of a sentence. The guy doesn't begin a sentence, he doesn't end a sentence. It's very, very difficult to do. I remember him telling this story. I hope he tells this story for you. So, you know, in and around Pittsburgh, around there, grew up around there. So, you know, a lot of people, it's like hour and a half,
Yeah.
something like that. This area, which, you know, and I know these people. For me, it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes, Pittsburgh, West Virginia. You know, it's the way I'm.
That's so good. That is so good.
Yeah.
With an itch, maybe.
What?
With an itch, maybe, like touching his.
With an itch thing, and this one?
Yeah.
The listening also, which is obviously every great actor is a great listener. The listening, it's It's super intense. But he's agreeing with you. But you're not sure the whole time. I wish I had a single scene with him. Actually, I have one scene with him in the whole show. But what a wonderful guy.
Yeah, he's great, but it's an amazing impression. And when he does it, we'll play it side by side when he's here.
Michael will understand.
So I love this, that you're an animal lover. I'm an animal lover, and I think that you built a house for bats and are trying to save and protect bats. People give them a bad name, but they are very important. They eat all our insects.
And we've lost 90-something% of them in the Northeast. I mean, we actively need bats.
What kind of bats do live in your house? Not your house, but the house that you built for them.
Mostly little brown bats.
Little tiny ones?
Yeah, they're like about that big. I see them. We also have like a little cabin where some of them like to go instead. I give them like first-class accommodations, and they go hang out in this little cabin. But yeah, they're sweet.
Well, you can do an impression, apparently, of a bat, and I would like to see that.
Well, okay. This comes from I was working on Batman. And I was appalled at how little research had been done into actual bats in order to play the character. I was like, Robert Pattinson's a very good actor, but like, this is kind of ridiculous. It's Batman. And yeah, I thought he should do a scene where there was a big crowd, one of these big crowd scenes, and just the way that they like to get right up next to someone. They like to get right up next to each other because they like it really hot. I thought, how cool would that be if we just saw Batman go in and just do the like... But instead, of course, we have him aloof and apart. But really, they're
social creatures.
They are completely social creatures, and they're the mammals that achieve the dream. I mean, every other mammal wishes it could fly.
And have echoes.
It did it. An echo.
Echoes, a location that they can, without seeing it, they're incredible. They're brilliant things, and I hope that people build houses for bats. When you leave here, if you get nothing else out of this show...
I can show you how.
All right.
Yeah, south-facing, painted black, 20 feet high, next to water.
And then you have bats, and then they eat all your mosquitoes and your stuff that you don't want around.
It's great.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, and we're back with Peter Sarsgaard. All right, so The Lost Daughter is the film that I've seen the beard in, and that was beautifully. The setting was in Greece.
Spetses. We went to Spetses in August of 2020, one of the first films I knew of out of the gate during COVID, and we shot on an island, basically second half of September into October, and all of us quarantined for 14 days, and weren't allowed to leave the island. And those conditions happen to be incredible for...
Yeah, if you're going to quarantine, I mean, it is beautiful to yeah, I mean, that's incredible. And your wife, Maggie Gyllenhaal, directed you, and there's a kind of steamy scene, couple of steamy scenes, but the stairway is kind of this, that was...
Yeah.
What is that like for your wife to direct you and a woman doing things?
It's not as difficult as your mother-in-law asking you to do the same thing, which I also have done.
Your mother-in-law? What?
I hadn't read the script that carefully, and my mother-in-law asked me to be in a movie she was directing, and it also had a sex scene in it. And for that one, I was like, how about I drop out of frame, you make faces, and I go have a cup of coffee. So we did that one that way. In my wife's movie, you know, I don't know, it was awesome. Like, it was, first of all, it's very technical. But what safer way to do it than having your wife there? I mean, rather than like being in a remote location with your wife 2,000 miles away. I mean, I think this is the way everyone should do it.
Yeah. And is that based on a book? Is that right?
Yeah, by Elena Ferrante, who is anonymous. So Maggie has had some interactions with her over email, but it's always been to me almost like having like the great mother in the sky. You know, she is whatever you want her to be.
Right. Can you describe that? I would like to describe the movie, but I don't know how.
Okay. This is a story about a woman who, yeah, it's very difficult not to give away the entire movie. It's a kind of psychological thriller, I think we could safely say. And it's about a woman who's exploring the demons of her past when she meets this very young mother, played by Dakota Johnson. And anyway, it brings up a lot of things from her past. It's difficult to describe from there.
All right, I think we have a clip.
Your name, Leda, is very provocative. You're thinking about the Yates. I bet you know it by heart. In Italian.
Tutto di colpo. La grande ave, palpitante, sulla ragazza.
And then they get it on. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Scorchettante. Yeah.
That was very impressive.
Yeah, I worked on it some. I think in the end we decided I didn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty good. I mean, I didn't know what you were saying, but it sounded Italian. And you just turned 50, and is that a good thing? Do you mind?
You know, I told a bunch of people right when I turned 50 that I was going to run 50 miles this year. I've not done that. I ran 50 kilometers when I turned 40, but that was 10 years ago. So, yeah, I've had a very bad back, actually. So I'm sitting right here right now in a way that's actually really good for it. These seats are astounding.
Oh.
But my lowest vertebrae is kept me from running my 50 kilometers, or 50 miles.
You know, we're done with the show this year. I can send you that chair.
Really? It's super supportive right where I want it. My
All right.
knees are up.
All right, take it with you. I don't need it anymore, it's fine. All right, listen, I think you're fantastic. I think you're just marvelous, so thank you for being here. Great seeing
Anytime.
you. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Dopesick is available now on Hulu. The Lost Daughter will be on Netflix New Year's Eve. We'll be back.